welcome to Wayzata Central Middle School, the temporary home of the Wayzata Trojans for this season. Well, their varsity field's being redone. Lake Conference Baseball, the Hopkins Royals visiting the Trojans here on a windy and possibly rainy day here. We've had a few drops so far. Hi, I'm Jay Wilcox along with Rick Rexroth, and teams have already met once this season. That one was indoors at US Bank Stadium with Wayzata winning. The defending state 4A champion Trojans are off to a 4-0 start. And here's the lineup that Hopkins, who are off to a 4-3 start, will send up today. Ben Willeen, the center fielder, leading it off, followed by Joey Swanson in left, Tommy Oth at first base, Morgan Holmes the catcher, Wyatt Nelson in right field, Bobby Wilson at third base, Luis Filomovicius at shortstop, Matt Shaw at second base, and Kyle Chiraboga is the designated hitter for the Royals, who have a new coach this season, and Jason Mikalakis. And here's a look at the defense for Bobby DeWitt and the Trojans. Sam Westermeyer, Nick Kay, Bobby Isbell, and Matt Bolke around the infield. Jack Rothstein, Chad Musser, and Danny Dice in the outfield. Tyler Young is behind the plate, and Will Oberg, right-hander, hard thrower, on the mound for Wayzata. One of a couple of key returners for their team, really, from that state title team, and he is off to a good start as a pitcher this year. Will has made a couple of starts, and he is 2-0. He has allowed only one run and no earned runs, so 0.0 ERA. In 10 1/3, he has walked 2 and fanned 16. So this is obviously a guy who, a good pitcher in this Lake Conference, and they're going to try and get a win out of him against the Royals here, who have played pretty good ball themselves here to start out the season. And first pitch is a breaking ball over for a strike here. Ben Willeen hitting at .364 this season. A couple of doubles. He's driven in 5, scored 4 runs. And a rip and a miss. Two offering and close, but taken for a ball there by Willeen. Be interesting to see how the wind affects these guys. You know, obviously you think about for outfielders, but I think it's strong enough that even pitchers are going to be impacted a little bit by it today. And a rip and a miss, got him to chase a breaking ball down. And Oberg starts the game with a strikeout, and Joey Swanson will be the hitter now for Hopkins.
Well, a nice mix by Oberg to start off the first batter. He threw him some off-speed pitches, got him to take one, tried to get him to nibble on the outside when he was ahead, and then came back with the off-speed curveball again. So good mix by Oberg.
Starts Swanson with a fastball inside off the plate. Joey hitting at an even .300 so far this year, 3 for 10. Couple of runs scored. And that one's a fastball over at the knees for a strike. And you see the dust squalls coming through the
first
infield
baseman's
right now.
having a tough time seeing the umpire. The second baseman literally blinded by the dirt coming across. The wind's changing a little bit now, so we might get a little weather here. It was blowing almost from the southwest. Now it seems blowing from the southeast corner as the rain's coming.
A little bit low with that fastball. That one is over for a strike. So 2-2 count here now to Swanson. Oberg working quickly here. Left that breaking ball up high, so 3-2. Pop back foul and out of play. There's a look at the new head coach this season for the Royals. Driven down the right field line. and will get out of play.
Well, the wind's tough on the infield, and it's tough on the play-by-play table here too.
Taken up high for a ball, and Swanson will draw a walk.
That's a nice job by Swanson. Your number 2 hitter saw 6 or 7 pitches from Oberg and worked his way on the base. So the Royals have got a man on first with 1 away here in the first.
Tommy Oth, the hitter, he's hitting .350. He's also walked 5 times, so a .500 on base percentage. He's got a double, a triple, and a home run. He's knocked in 4, so guy who's been pretty productive with the bat. Royals have had things work out pretty well to get in 7 games already at this point in the season. And that one's up high, and Coach basically summed it up as we've beaten the teams we should beat, and we've competed well with some of the better ones on our schedule too, so including this Wayzata team. So it all evens out to a 4-3 mark right now for Hopkins. Got some young players in the lineup, and obviously a coach, feeling his way through for the first year. And the former Royals coach, actually part of the staff now at Wayzata, Pat Berger, and he said he's been willing to still be a little helpful, talking with him about some things too. Just the administration part of it is a little bit of an eye-opener when you become a high school coach with so many things paperwork-wise, meetings and schedules.
Bus
and
schedules,
like that.
Yep. You've got a booster club, you've got your district funds, you got your booster funds, and then most high school coaches of communities are involved in the summer program. So you're right, there is quite a bit to do as a head coach for baseball.
Back up the middle, Oberg will throw to second for 1. The relay to first is in time as Wayzata turns a nice 1-6-3 double play to get out of the inning there. Oberg fielding his position well, and then puts the throw right on target here to Kay, who is able to get the turn. It was not a sure thing double play by any means, and then a nice job at first base there to take that low throw too by Bolke. So after a half inning, no score on the board. Royals, no runs, no hits, and courtesy of that double play, no one left on base. And we'll go to the bottom of the first. Wayzata will get their first chance with the bats. Here's the lineup for Coach DeWitt. The right fielder Dice leads it off. Bobby Isbell at second base hits in the 2 spot. Oberg will hit third. Chad Musser, the center fielder, hitting 4th. And it's Westermeyer, Young, Bolke, Kay, and Rothstein for the Trojans. And a look at the defensive alignment for Hopkins. Wilson, Filimovicius, Shaw, and Off around the infield. Joey Swanson, Willeen, and Nelson in the outfield. Morgan Holmes behind the plate. And right-hander Eric Pont doing the pitching today for Hopkins. Making his first start of the season, he has had a couple of appearances. He's pitched in 3 games so far, but only 2 1/3. So obviously been working in relief prior to this. And 3.00 earned run average for Eric so far. No wins, no losses. He's walked a couple and no strikeouts. So good off-speed repertoire. Doesn't throw as hard as Oberg, but they're hoping to get him some good work. The coach was saying, really how the schedule has fallen, they've been able to kind of rely on their top 2 guys to start most of the games so far, but they're going to need more beyond that. And I said, do you right now consider Eric maybe your number 3? And he said, well, he has a chance to prove that today maybe. Yeah,
that's what April's all about in high school baseball, is finding out who your 3 or 4 guys that can start the game and who your other 3 or 4 guys that can pitch a little more. You've probably heard this new rule we have in Minnesota this year about not only pitch counts are in particular about days of rest after so many pitches, but they're actually logged into the high school league website. So I'm very strict about how many pitches a kid can throw and then how many days rest he needs after that. So I'm sure coaches are experimenting with pitchers as they're looking and dealing with that rule for the first time this year.
Danny Dice swinging at the first pitch and hits it pretty well out to center field, but it'll stay playable, and catch made out there by Willeen as he's able to track it. And kind of fortunately so for Ben, the wind just, between the half innings seemed to have died down just a little bit for the moment anyway. And so that one didn't turn out to be too terribly difficult to play.
Yeah, he tracked it very well, but you're right. At the wrong time, that ball can get caught up in the wind and move all around the place today.
Bobby Isbell, the hitter now. He's hitting .286 on the season, 2 for 7. He's been productive with 3 runs batted in a limited number of at-bats. So you saw on the graphic there, Wayzata not scoring a ton of runs, but they're sure not giving up much. And that's helped them to this 4-0 start. Here's a little soft liner. That'll drop in for a base hit. So a 1-out single for Isbell gets a little threat going for the Trojans here in the bottom of the first. And Will Oberg will be the batter for Wayzata. We know he's a good pitcher. He's also a pretty good hitter. .273 average so far. He scored 4 runs. 1 double, and he's driven in 1 for the Trojans.
Isbell, nice piece of hitting, just dumping into left field there.
Pitch taken for a strike. I asked Wayzata, they said, well, we've pitched pretty well. We fielded pretty well. We haven't hit a ton, but we've had enough timely hitting to get off to this 4-0 start. So there's a strike. I think last year, obviously, a group that had a lot of success together, won a Legion state title and won, obviously, the state high school title last year. But, you got some younger guys coming in that are chomping at the bit to get into the program and be a part of it, and they've done a good job so far. Hard liner, and that one will get through for a base hit. Isbell had to hold up initially, so he'll have to stay at second and make sure that ball wasn't going to be caught and then get himself doubled off. So Oberg slashing a single to right after Isbell's soft liner to left, and runners at first and second now for the Trojans.
Well, he stings that ball, and you can see Willeen get around the ball really well to be able to pick it up and really shut down that runner at second base. A lot of times that ball might get through to the fence, or you got guys on second and third, but good hustle by Willeen to hold him to a single.
Austin Freeze will run at first base for the pitcher Oberg. Chad Musser is the hitter now for Wayzata, and he strokes one into right field for a base hit. Going to send the runner home. A little bit of a stumble by Isbell. Close play, and he is out. Now a throw down to second, and they'll get that one as well. Hopkins getting a double play in unusual fashion to get out of the inning with no runs scored. It started out good for Wayzata with the line single, but Isbell stumbled a little bit coming around third, and he is cut down at the plate as you see Holmes getting that tag. Ooh, I'm not so sure about it, but they'll get the out there, and then an alert throw down to second. They get the hitter as well, Musser. So the inning is over. For Wayzata in the first, no runs, 3 base hits, no errors, and 1 left. After an inning, it's 0-0.
I adopted Bento in 2010 from a shelter. As it turns out, we have very similar personalities. And this cat makes me make art because he's always motivating me to take pictures of him, to draw pictures of him. He just is motivating artistically. It's just that simple. Well, he's my best friend, but a lot of people know him as Keyboard Cat.
There's a look at Will Oberg taking his warm-up tosses. Boy, it sure looked like he was going to be staked to a lead, but Hopkins had other ideas as they're able to get a very unusual double play to end that inning. A relay in, so 9-3-2, and then a throw down to second to get the out there. Pretty alert, too, to go for the trail runner rather than looking at third. Holmes came up throwing. There's a runner coming into third, but it was the hitter who was definitely the most vulnerable out there, and he threw him out at second.
Yeah, good communication for Holmes. The fielders are talking to him, and for the second baseman to be standing on the bag ready for the tag as well. So
Holmes He's had a very good start with the bat this year. He's hitting .550, and he's already driven in 13 runs, Rick. At first I did a double take to see, is it possible that he already has that many? And he does. 4 doubles, a triple, 3 home runs. He has been dynamite with the bat.
Yeah, well, Hopkins has been scoring runs in chunks. They're coming off a Saturday victory over Benilde St. Margaret's where they scored 112-7. So we got the good pitchers against the good hitters. Be a good matchup here.
And a breaking ball there. Had Holmes' knees locked up a little bit as Oberg shooting a strike. Wayzata has to be kind of shaking their head how they could come up with 3 line drive hits in a row and end up out of the inning, but that's what happened. On the other side of the coin, though, they feel confident that they can get some swings in against Plymouth.
Yep, but the Royals' ability to catch and tag and throw in that order is also a credit to them. You don't usually expect the relay throw and everything to be perfect like that, and also to have everybody in the right spot and the communication to tag that back runner. So great defense by the Royals there to shut down the Wayzata offense.
Oberg missing outside. He hit the target, but they were set up to the outside there with Tyler Young. Kind of shows you, too, that the Royals, you're not just going through the motions when you practice things like that. Obviously, every team in baseball works on situations. Knocked down to third, it's juggled, and there'll be no time for a play as Westermeyer will commit the error. And Holmes is aboard to begin the top of the second. Even after the bobble, I thought he might have still had a chance to make a play here.
Yep, Morgan Holmes is a catcher, which just means he's probably not the fleetest of foot, but it did get away from him a little bit. But Holmes hustled down the line.
Martin De La Paz will be the runner here for Holmes, the courtesy runner for the catcher. So Wyatt Nelson steps in here for the Royals. Average doesn't look great at 118, but he has knocked in 3 runs and scored 4. Sometimes you kind of, you look at that a little bit more, how productive have they been overall than just the pure batting average. So when it's counted, it looks like he's kind of answered the bell. Runner is moving. It's popped up and out of play by Nelson.
Like Coach Michalakis was doing a little hit and run there, showing some confidence in his sophomore baseball player here at the plate. Like you said, if you can handle the bat a little bit and put the bat on the ball, that's when you want to do those hit and runs. So nice for a sophomore to be a contributor at this point. As you mentioned, some of the younger players for the Royals are on the field today.
Oberg will go with the soft toss over to first. Fastball just missing, taken for a ball, so 1-2. Slashed out to right, and it's going to hang up, and catch made as the runner will have to retreat to first as Dice stayed with that one. Sometimes those liners right at you can be a little bit difficult to handle, and I thought for just a split second that it had a chance to carry over him, but it did not do so. Obviously, we got kind of a short porch here in right. Left-hand hitters salivate at that more than righties, obviously, Rick, but it was always the target when this was the Wayzata High School field is, can I put one over that fence and right? Runner was going, pitch fouled back here by Bobby Wilson for the Royals. Bobby hitting at 176 this year, but he has knocked in 5 runs, 1 extra base hit. Fastball missing away. The Royals have shown the aggressiveness a little bit, getting the runner started. I mean, obviously it's not resulted in anything with the foul ball, but.
Yeah, but he's trying to make something happen, and my guess is he's been that aggressive so far with the number of runs they've been able to put up in 7 games.
Breaking ball misses down low. I think the other, part of that equation too is you probably kind of figure against Oberg, more than likely you're not going to just be able to count on coming up and getting, 4 or 5 hits in a row necessarily. So you kind of look to press the issue a little bit. Line foul down the right field line. Taps it foul at the plate. Wilson just got a piece of that one.
Yeah, nice off-speed curveball by Oberg and fought off well by Wilson, but you could tell him he had him off balance pretty badly there, but he was able to get the bat on the ball, stay alive.
Rip and a miss. Runner is going, and the throw is not going to be in time. So a stolen base, but also a strikeout. So 2 outs in the inning now as La Paz able to pick up a steal. Tough throw kind of into the wind. It was to the third base side and a one hopper, and he's able to make it without too much trouble. The good news, though, for Wayzata, obviously, is they do get the strikeout.
Yeah, but the third base side, he had to dig it out of the dirt a little bit as well with the swing on the pitch, too. A lot of going on for Tyler Young back there.
So Filomovicius will step in here for Hopkins, and he takes a first pitch strike. Runner in scoring position and 2 down here for the Royals in the top of the second. They try and strike first here against Wayzata. Trojans had 3 straight hits in the bottom of the first inning, but a double play got Hopkins out of the frame. That one over at the knees for a strike.
Well, Wayzata holding the runner at second base with their shortstop with a right-handed batter. So there's a big hole on the left side for Filomovicius to find some ground for a base hit.
Yeah, the second baseman really shading over toward first. They definitely, I think their scouting report or their charts on him must really indicate that he likes to go to the right side.
Yep, and or Oberg's velocity is good enough to force him over there as well.
Breaking ball taken for a strike. Beauty from Oberg. So he gets out of a little trouble with the back-to-back strikeouts. In the second, no runs, no hits. There was 1 Trojans error and 1 left aboard. We go to the bottom of 2 here on CCX Sports. Still scoreless between the Royals and the Trojans.
What makes your community feel like home? Is it knowing what's happening in your neighborhood? Or when people know your name? Connections make us a community. For more than 30 years, Northwest Community Television has connected citizens, neighbors, even sports fans through video. As life gets busier than ever, we will still offer you a connected community experience through CCX Media, so you can stay connected to the place you call home.
Most of my family, they never graduated high school or even let alone go to college, so I'm trying to break that barrier. Every day after work, went straight to school, studied hard, and it paid off. I could not have done it alone. I see the future is really bright for me. The high school diploma is just added to the confidence, and now I feel unstoppable.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Sam Westermeyer stepping in here for Wayzata to lead off the bottom of the second as they bring up the 5, 6, 7 hitters against Eric Plant. Knocks it down to third, cut off, and throw across in plenty of time there as Wilson took a little off that throw, but gets the out. Wayzata looking like their plan is to be aggressive. A lot of guys swinging early in the count.
Well hit, but well fielded as well by the Royals. Tommy Oth over to Tommy Oth at first base from Bobby Wilson.
Pitch taken for a ball here as Tyler Young, the catcher, steps in for the Trojans. He is Got a couple of hits in 12 at-bats this year so far, so hitting 167. Lifting this one out quite a ways to left center, but it's going to hold up and be playable there for Swanson. So a couple of quick outs here in the second inning for Wayzata, and Matt Bolke will be the batter, as he is looking for his first hit this year. He's 0 for 7.
Well, the left fielder gets on his horse there. We mentioned the wind earlier, which has now died down, so he's tracking that well.
And that one sails high and inside. Cut and a miss, and it's 1-1. And that one on the inner part called strike 2, so a 1-2 count here. And Plymouth trying to work a quick inning here. Wayzata's been swinging at a lot of early pitches in the count, and that can be a good thing. It can be a bad thing. I definitely understand the need to see a lot of pitches and work things out, but I also think that there's something to be said for, a lot of times pitchers will try to get that first pitch over, and that might be the fattest pitch you see in the whole at bat. And I think you maybe do yourself a disservice if you continually just watch those go by.
Well, there's usually going to be a scouting report on the pitcher, and then sometime the coaches will help make that decision.
Ooh, Royals were halfway to the dugout there. That one looked pretty good, and Holmes was ready to think it was a called third strike, but instead it's a ball, so Bolke's still up there. Fouls this one away.
Well, Plant is living downstairs, which is where you want to be. He's around the knees, below the waist, so when they're not able to drive the ball as well. And
to third. Ooh, it takes a big high hop there on Wilson. His throw is dug out nicely by Odd. Nice play there. Wilson really had to stay with that one. That one took a kangaroo hop on the last bounce. So 1-2-3 inning in the second. No runs, no hits, and no one left for Wayzata. We're at 0-0 through 2 here on CCX Sports.
I adopted Bento in 2010 from a shelter. As it turns out, we have very similar personalities. And this cat makes me make art because he's always motivating me to take pictures of him, to draw pictures of him. He just is motivating artistically. It's just that simple. Well, he's my best friend, but a lot of people know him as Keyboard Cat.
I see you mobbing over her. Let's go. Let's mob. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, we mobbing. Come on, girl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl.
Welcome back here to Wayzata Central Middle School. Top of the third inning here on CCX Sports. Hopkins, Matt Shaw leading it off, and he pops one up. He's going to get back and foul out of play. The 8, 9, and 1 hitters coming up for the Royals against Will Oberg, the Wayzata right-hander. Oberg's fan 3 in the first 2 innings. Takes a strike here to Shaw. Shaw is 1 for 9 so far this season, hitting 111, but the one hit was a double, and he's scored 3 runs. Able to check his swing there. And a rip and a miss, and he'll go down on strikes tag applied. So third straight strikeout dating back to last inning for Oberg, who has looked every bit as sharp as what his numbers coming in would indicate.
Well, the bottom just fell out of that pitch, and Shaw knew he shouldn't be swinging, but it looks so good coming out of Oberg's hand, and then the bottom drops out of that. Nice Pick up by Tyler Young with the tag, and out number 1.
Kyle Chiraboga stepping in for Hopkins, takes it up high for a ball. And I also think that the velocity that Oberg is able to bring obviously makes you more vulnerable to something that's off speed like that too, because you know you have to get started quick. And that takes, a little bit of decision time away. Liner to right field, Dice coming in. It's going to drop right next to the line. And Hopkins has its first base hit of the ball game as Chiraboga puts one in a good spot down the right field line. No chance really for Dice to get that one. You don't want to gamble and come in too hard and have it get by you either. So he just had to back off, and if it drops in fair, it drops in fair, and that's what happened.
Yeah, well, Chiraboga fights off that fastball. He was late on the ball, but he's able to dump it into right field and giving the Royals a chance here with a runner on base and 1 out.
So the top of the order coming up now, Ben Wallin, who struck out his first time through. Good ball player, though. I remember seeing him play last year. Down to second. They're going to have to go for 1. They'll get the lead runner, though. Nice play, nice pivot to get around. I really thought that Isbell might have to just take the out at first base, but he was having none of that. He felt he had a chance to make the quick spin and get it over there to Kay, and that's what happened. No chance to turn it, but they do get the lead guy. So we'll lean on a fielder's choice, and Joey Swanson will be the hitter now for Hopkins with 2 outs. Takes a pitch over for a strike. Swanson drew a walk his first time up. Runner is going, pitch low and in, throw to second, not nearly in time, and Wallin will swipe second.
Yeah, so it's good aggressive play by the Royals with 2 outs. You've got your leadoff hitter, obviously very quick runner, Ben Wallin, and steals the base easily in there, so you put him in scoring position. Chance to get him in on a base hit.
Liner into right field. This might score the first run of the game. Dice up with it. Runner is being sent to the plate. Oh, here's the throw, and he is going to be out. Second time in the game we've had a runner out at the plate. 1 for each team now, as Wayzata does the job defensively, same as Hopkins did back in the first inning. So for the Royals in the third, no runs, 1 hit. No errors and 1 left aboard. Nice defensive play by Wayzata. We stay at 0-0 here, heading to the bottom of the third, courtesy of this strong throw out.
I adopted Bento in 2010 from a shelter. As it turns out, we have very similar personalities. And this cat makes me make art because he's always motivating me to take pictures of him, to draw pictures of him. He just is motivating artistically. It's just that simple. Well, he's my best friend, but a lot of people know him as Keyboard Cat.
And we go to the bottom of 3 here. It'll be the 8-9-1 hitter. So Nick Kay stepping in for Wayzata, and he lifts one out to right field and hits it a long way, and it's to the fence. Kay will dig into second, and the throw bounces away, and a leadoff double for Nick Kay here for the Trojans.
Well, we mentioned the short porch and right, and this ball will get through the right fielder to the fence. Plays it off the fence, right, dies there. The throw is actually a pretty good one. If there's a catch and a tag, he might be out there, but the throw is a little too close to first base to get that tag on there. So good aggressive running by Kay, puts him in scoring position to start off the third.
Jack Rothstein will be the batter here for Wayzata. Squares around and drops down the bunt. It's juggled, and they will still get the out at first base. A little bit of an adventure there for Plant, but he's able to get the out, but they move Kay over to third. He slipped a little bit, I think, too. It didn't help. Plant didn't panic, though, and still got a strong, accurate throw. So Dice will hit, runner at third and 1 out here for the Trojans. Looked like that, I don't know that he necessarily would have had a play on that one anyway, but Wyatt Nelson seemed like he backed off, fearing that he was nearer the fence than he was on that leadoff shot by Kay. He maybe still wouldn't have been able to get it, and maybe not a bad idea to play it safe there, but he definitely stopped a little short of where he needed to. And this one will be knocked into left field for a base hit, and Wayzata is on the board as Dice turns on that one and is able to get enough of it to get it between third and short. And he will knock in Kay, and Wayzata not being discouraged by, the first inning ending the way it did or getting 3 outs in the second. They're still coming up and swinging those bats early in the count.
Yep, Dice just being nice and aggressive there, and Coach DeWitt had moved his run around to third, and it's an easy run for the Trojans. As you mentioned, they continue to be real aggressive early in the count, going after the ball of Eric Plount.
Isbell, the hitter, you see he singled his first time up, and a rip and a miss. Fastball for a strike, throw down to first, and it gets away. But not far enough, obviously, to be any problem there for the Royals. Holmes coming up throwing. And a cut and a miss, and Isbell goes down on strikes for out number 2, and that will leave it up to Oberg now. Amazing how much the weather can change in a bit. All of a sudden now it's a nice day out here.
Yep, it's a little warmer. The winds died down. We had about 10 total raindrops.
High chopper to third. Wilson waits back on it, and the throw across is not going to be in time. So Dice down to second. Oberg will get an infield hit out of that one, although I think you could say Wilson maybe didn't play this one as aggressive as he should have. Not going to be an error, but
well, he didn't trust where the bounce was going to come. If that bounce on the dirt, maybe he's a little more aggressive, but the bounce came off the grass, and we saw last half inning the ball came up pretty hard and high off that grass. So played it safe.
Freeze will run again. Here's Musser knocking one down to second, and the play made there by Shaw. So Musser is out 4-3. Again, the Trojans threaten. This time they do get 1 run, but it could have been more. I'm sure they're feeling. 1 run on 3 hits in the inning for Wayzata. Through 3, it is 1-0 Trojans.
Every time I hear the alarm bell go off in school, I think it's an air raid.
A lot of houses in our neighborhood have been destroyed. I like to close my ears and sing songs whenever the bombs come close.
I'm worried our new neighbors won't like us.
But I know it's all gonna be worth it. I just want my family to be safe. But these are not my words.
These are not my words.
These are not my words.
We go to inning number 4 here in Lake Conference Baseball on CCX Sports. Wayzata leading Hopkins by a score of 1-0. And Will Oberg has looked sharp so far. Gave up a couple hits last inning. I stand corrected, by the way, at the end of that previous inning. I said 1 hit. It obviously was 2. The batter, Swanson, singling, but his lead runner thrown out at the plate. So both teams have had a guy thrown out at the plate in this game, too. So it is 1-0, but it's a little more adventurous than maybe that 1-0 looks like, I think, Rick.
Yeah, and it's kind of the opposite of what we talked about, these teams coming in, that Hopkins is putting up a lot of runs, and Wayzata hasn't been in a tough time getting the runs, but Wayzata's been the aggressor with the bat, and Hopkins manufacturing an opportunity to get that run with the play at the plate was really their biggest threat. So a good ball game here between 2 Lake Conference opponents.
Well, and I think in both cases, too, okay, you did get thrown at the plate, but you make the other team make a play where they have to execute or you're going to score. And they were very close plays at the plate in both cases, too. So I don't necessarily look at it as a mistake to send the runner in either of those cases.
No, absolutely. With a runner on second and 2 outs and a base hit, unless I'm on second base, you're going to send him on every time.
Tommy off the hitter, and he bounced into a double play, a one-hopper right back to the pitcher, Oberg, and they were able to turn it. Oberg's been pretty efficient too, and like we touched on the new pitch count rules. I think a lot of these teams. I talked to Coach DeWitt about it, at the tail end of last year, and he honestly felt. Did he go? Yes, a swinging strike 3 there on off. He felt that it wasn't really going to impact them much. He said we very much have believed in protecting our guys' arms anyway. With that, we weren't getting to those limits anyway.
Yeah, in Minnesota in April, it's often like today is 60 degrees. That's a warm day in April. So with cooler air and coming out of the gym with your baseball team, it's good to keep those pitch counts down even into May, to get those arms warmed up and get the strength in them for summer baseball. Minnesota being a state that plays spring ball, where there are some states in the Midwest that actually play their high school baseball during the summer. So good thing for Minnesota to keep those pitch counts low.
Holmes reached on an error last time. We talked about when he was at bat the previous time how hot he has been as a hitter early this year, already with 3 homers and 13 RBIs. So anytime you can kind of hold him in check, you feel good about it here. And they like to see that he's hitting with nobody on base, too, to the Trojans. Swing and a miss, and Young dropped it. Holmes didn't realize it, so he walked away, and the tag never really applied, but he gave himself up by leaving the area there and heading to the bench. So 2 strikeouts in a row here for Oberg to begin the 4th, and Wyatt Nelson will be the hitter. Nelson hit the ball pretty well, lined out to the right fielder Dice last time up. This time pounding it to third, takes a nice big high hop. Throw across is in time, and Oberg works a 1-2-3 inning. Actually, only the second time that he's faced 3 batters in the inning. No runs, no hits, and no one left in the 4th for the Royals. We go to the bottom of 4. It's 1-0 Wayzata. Trailing at 1-0 as Wayzata gets set to hit in the bottom of the 4th inning. It will be Westermeyer, Young, and Bolke scheduled to bat here for the Trojans. Started out very windy and some raindrops flying at the face of the batters and the catcher and the umpire. And a couple innings later, it's actually a pretty nice day out here.
Yep, it's a great day to be outside. The sun's not beating on you too bad, and the umbrellas are holding up, but most of them have been put away now, as you said. And really an exciting ball game. We've had some really fun plays in the field. We've had some fun plays at home plate. We've had the ball hit hard in different places, but a great ball game here for the Lake Conference.
Sam Westermeyer hitting now for the Trojans. He bounced to third base his first time up. Plant's been pretty effective, too. I mean, I don't think there's any doubt he's not been as dominant as Oberg, but he's gotten the outs when he's needed them. As we said, they got that double play to get out of the first inning when it looked like Wayzata was going to really string some things, and they did really string 3 straight singles, but no runs allowed in that frame, and then gave up 1. There's a liner to right, just out of the reach. Diving try there for Shaw. And so Westermeyer will lead off the 4th inning with a single.
Well, we've been talking about how aggressive Wayzata's been. There's a nice base hit there. It's funny to watch that right fielder come into the screen so quickly because he's playing about 2/3 into the outfield, but we mentioned how short it is out there, so
Tyler
Nelson's not too far away. Sorry.
Tyler Young, the batter, and I think there was a split second when Nelson thought about maybe I'm going to throw this ball to first base, but then realized that wasn't going to be a feasible option there. We did see that happen in a ball game earlier this spring at the Maple Grove Champlain Park game. A hard one-hopper right at the right fielder, and he threw a guy out at first.
Usually your right fielder is out there because of his strength of his arm, so it's kind of a real dream play for a kid.
Hit well to left field, but not much movement required there for Joey Swanson, who got a good read on that ball right away and is able to make the grab, and Matt Bolke will be the hitter. Bolke knocked one down to the third baseman Wilson his first time up. Takes a pitch inside. I think Wayzata right now has got to be feeling like, you know, for as many hits as we've had, we should have more than one run, and we need to string some more together here. Hits this one well out to right field, drifting back, and the catch made right at the edge of the track there by Nelson. And so 2 outs, and again, that's a short porch and right, and I thought that one maybe wouldn't get out, but I thought it had a chance to get to the fence. But
well, it's going to spin away. You'll see him dive over his head. The ball's spinning off the bat that way, and nice job by Nelson getting to that track. You know, it's as a high school athlete, you're maybe not as used to dealing with that warning track.
Nick Kay knocking one through into left field for a base hit, so he is 2 for 2. He had a double and scored a run the first time up, and now he bounces a single into left. So runners at first and second now for Jack Rothstein for the Trojans.
Well, hit it through the hole. Shortstop playing toward the bag, so he was hit it where they ain't, and he did.
Nick Fasaro will run at first base, or excuse me, at second base for the lead runner Westermeyer. So this is not a courtesy runner, it's a pinch runner situation here, and undoubtedly they will likely re-enter Westermeyer, I would guess. But so Rothstein didn't get to swing the bat the first time, but he still made a very important play by bunting the runner over to third, and that's the run that ended up scoring. So you like to see a guy that can get that bunt down. Boy, we see so many games where guys struggle with that. And
yeah, it's probably all at all levels. It's probably the least practiced and worst part of baseball, especially in the major leagues, that this can be so effective when you can do it well.
I always feel like so many guys try to do too much with it. You know, they're looking to bunt for a base hit, and you really, when you're sacrificing, you're looking to get that guy over. Here's a liner into center, and this should score another run. Long run to get over to it. And it's going to score the run and also allow runner to go to third. So Rothstein coming through with an RBI single. The difference when that ball was hit not right at an outfielder, Wallin had a long way to go to get over to it, and that really limited any opportunity to have a chance at cutting that run down at the plate.
Yep, Wallin has to go to his left hard, but he gets around the ball here, and wondering where the cutoff man is there. The ball gets through. He lets the ball go through, like you said, which allows the extra base taken. But we had seen 2 plays at the plate already today, so catcher's making the call on whether that ball's cut off or not.
I think a little bit of a mistake there, certainly for Hopkins to, you know, allow that runner to go from second to third on that play, but discussion time here. I don't think any real consideration of removing Pont at this point, but they have hit some balls hard against them pretty much throughout the game.
Yeah, we mentioned how aggressive Wayzata is being, but it depends on the inning. There's been 2 innings where they've hit the ball where the Royals weren't, and they've been put some runners on and scored a run. And there's a couple innings where they hit the ball 3 times and had to go back in and take the field again. So
here's Dice slicing one out to right field, and that will bring a run home. As Rothstein has to hold up at second base, but an RBI single there for Dice will make it 3-0 Wayzata.
Well, it just pokes this out into center field. We mentioned the throw earlier that allowed Wayzata to send their runner to third, and he scores easily on the base hit. And Dice picks up his second RBI of the game.
Looks like
That's going to be all for
Yep, they're going to ask for the ball here as they've seen him give up a few too many hard hit balls right there, so they're going to make a pitching change, and looks like coming in for the Royals will be Jack Cohen, with Wayzata building a 3-0 lead. He has gotten the first 2 outs of the inning, but you don't want to see this inning get away anymore. So Cohen will warm up. We'll take a quick break and come back with more here from Wayzata Central Middle School. So righty Jack Cohen will come in here for the Royals. Jack Sr., he's pitched 1 inning so far this season, allowing 1 hit and 1 walk with 2 strikeouts. So they'll call on him to try and get out of the 4th inning, and you would expect probably to, work his way a little bit into the next inning or 2 as well, depending on how things go. Bobby Isbell, there you see him trying to time up what Cohen's got. He'll be hitting with a couple of runners on base. Runners at first and second. 2 outs, but 2 runs have already scored here for Wayzata, and they're looking to make it an even bigger inning as they lead at 3-0 right now.
Yeah, and Isbell came up with the first hit of the game for Wayzata, starting that rally that ended in that unorthodox double play with a throw out at home. So he's 1 for 2 today already.
And I think if we could ask Bobby right now, he would maintain that he was not out at home, and I think he might have had a point. But that's in the dirt. Holmes grabs it, throw to third, and his throw was low. They definitely had a chance, and a very good chance, to get the lead runner there, because Holmes made a nice play. It popped off his mitt, and then he barehanded it. He had plenty of time, but he rushed his throw and threw it in the dirt.
Yeah,
I think if this is on target, he gets him.
Yep, that's a tough play at third base. Ball in the dirt. I think you have to call that an error on the catcher, but that's the grab before that was well done.
Little dribbler off the end of the bat, foul there. So we will score it as an error on Holmes there. Kind of a hard luck one. I think he didn't realize he definitely had time after barehanding that one off the bounce. Popped up, and to stay in the infield here. And Filomovicius able to make the catch. So Cohen does his job, gets out of the inning, but the Trojans do get a couple of runs in the frame. 2 runs on 4 base hits, 1 error, and a couple left aboard. We played 4 complete. It is 3-0 Wayzata.
They said a bottle was just a bottle. That no one would ever notice me. But I knew I could be more. That one day, I would make people smile.
There you see our line score so far. Wayzata getting a run in the 3rd and a couple more in the 4th. They had a near miss in the bottom of the 1st, so they hold a 3-0 lead. And you see they have been able to put 10 hits on the board, and just a couple so far for Hopkins. Oberg staked to a 3-0 lead, and he's looked pretty sharp out there, pretty smooth.
Yeah, he seemed to be getting better as he goes along here. Really great job locating the ball, and his fastball's got good velocity, and because of the velocity of the fastball, his off-speed pitch is that much more difficult as you got to get ready for that fastball. It's really kept people off balance.
Bobby Wilson was a strikeout victim his first time up. First pitch swinging here and fouls this one back. Oh, and somebody's vehicle took a good shot there. We're right near Vicksburg Lane here, obviously. Foul balls can get there, but also right near the parking lot where a lot of cars are in play too.
Yep, experienced parents, I'm sure, are parked a little closer to the school, and some of those younger or inexperienced fans are parked right next to the stadium here.
Remember doing games here years ago where you'd at least a couple times a game, that one's sliced foul past first, at least a couple times a game you'd see a driver driving by and all of a sudden come to a stop or be dodging a ball out on the road. 0-2 count here. Little change up, and it's going to be a tough play. Oberg fires to first and gets the out. Nice job there as Wilson, just a little tapper. Oberg had to come off the mound to get it. Looked like he struggled a little bit to find his footing for the plant foot, but he still got a strong throw, and one down.
Yeah, you'll see him plant there, and he throws a fastball to first base. Nice throw by Oberg. Good job fielding.
Knocked down to first, it gets through, but Oberg covers and they get the out anyway. Well, there's going to be some thanks given by Matt Bolke there as Isbell and Oberg saved him from a sure error there. Filimovicius looked like he had bounced one enough, and Bolke just didn't stay down on this ball. And then he doesn't cover the bag either, but Oberg does.
Yeah, Oberg doing exactly what he's supposed to do. He get caught in the line, and Filimovicius is not a slow young man, so they all had to hurry and tip your hat to Isbell and to Oberg.
Matt Shaw is the batter. Takes it for a ball, and I'm sure Bolke's going to, he should anyway, give a little pat on the back to both those guys. The second baseman for, getting over there to back him up, and then also the pitcher Oberg for covering. Shaw, strikeout victim his first time up. Oberg trying to work through another 1-2-3 inning and a rip and a miss. Wayzata doesn't play again until Friday, but that's a big one against their rivals Minnetonka. And a cut and a miss, and Shaw down on strikes on the high fastball, and another impressive inning for Will Oberg. No runs, no hits, and no one left for Hopkins. We head to the bottom of the fifth inning. Wayzata still up 3-0. Cohen taking his warm-up tosses here for Hopkins as he'll try and hold things where they're at and give his team a chance with the bats here in the last couple innings. Will Oberg will lead it off for Wayzata, followed by Chad Musser and Sam Westermeyer for the Trojans as they look to build on a 3-0 lead. See what they can do against Cohen. I think, no disrespect meant to Plant, but I think the Wayzata guy's probably a little disappointed he's not in there anymore because they got some pretty hard hit balls against him.
Yeah, well, they were aggressive the whole time, and like I said earlier, it was a kind of a mixture of two different innings. When they hit the ball at people, it was 1, 2, 3. I think one inning he maybe only pitched the ball 5 or 6 times, and then those 2 big innings where they strung together 4, 5, 6 hits in a row and came up with their runs.
Oberg is 2 for 2. I mean, he would be having a good game even if he was only pitching, but he's also contributed with a pair of singles.
Well, it's not very often you're starting pitchers in the number 3 slot for the defending state champion, so obviously he's able to do things with the bat as well as pitcher.
Looks at that one outside for a ball. Hits it hard to third, but right at Wilson. Throw across is in time. And Oberg is out for the first time here. 5-3 on the putout, and Chad Musser will be the batter here for Wayzata.
Wilson was in the right spot there, stayed down on the ball. Ball got in the grass early. Comes up with a throw to first for an easy out.
Musser 1 out of 2. Takes a strike here.
Wonder how hard it is when you're left-handed and when you play at this ballpark. Musser's got to be excited that the high school field is getting worked on this season, as he's going to spend half his games here with a short porch and right. Sometimes I wonder if you can psych yourself out or if you should just get up there and swing the bat like you normally do. You don't want to make too much effort to try and pull the ball.
And that one high and away. I was talking to Coach DeWitt a little bit about their new field, and he said the plan and the hope is that they're going to play mostly or even all night games once that field is completed, lights and all. So, although I half-jokingly said to him, some of those early April, it's a lot warmer at 4:30 than it would be at 7. So you might. And we'll see if there's,
Well, it's tucked into that corner of the Wayzata campus where the lights really aren't going to bother anybody around anybody. So sometimes putting lights up, you can make the neighbors not so happy. But Wayzata's got the space over there on their campus, and it's exciting to play under the lights, even if it is 45 degrees when the ball game starts in April.
He mentioned that they don't have restrictions about night games, like some schools maybe do. Westermeyer the batter as Musser draws a 1-out walk. Ooh, that one's in the dirt. Holmes blocks it, and a chance now. Throw to first. And he is out at first. Musser thought that ball was going to get through. Holmes made the block, and then he was kind of caught in no man's land, but still thought he had gotten back in, but umpire says no, and they get the sweep tag down. So now 2 outs, and Westermeyer still at the plate. High chopper to third and right to Wilson. And he will throw across, and they get the out. So for Wayzata in the 5th, no runs, no hits. That pickoff means no one left on base. We've completed 5 in the Lake Conference on CCX Sports. 3-0 Wayzata.
I see you mobbing over her. Let's go. Let's mob. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, we mobbing. Come on, girl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl.
Welcome back here to Central Middle School. Wayzata Central Middle School, the former high school. Home for the Trojans baseball for 2017 as their varsity field at the current high school being renovated. They're not the only one. Armstrong facing the same situation where they're now playing at the field they used to play at, the lighted field in New Hope, as their field is being redone.
Well, the facilities in this part of the metro area just keep getting better and better and better, which is exciting. And if you ever get a chance to see a game at Minnetonka's home field, they actually play on a turf field as part of their complex out there. So really, kids are blessed with the communities in our area that are able to support the schools and the facilities for these athletes.
Kyle Chiraboga, the hitter, the DH. He has one of the 2 base hits today for the Royals, and you will lead off the bottom of the 6th against Will Oberg, who's been impressive. Starts him with a breaking ball in the dirt. Oberg's retired the last 6 hitters he's faced. Fastball over for a strike.
just that location has been excellent. He's so consistent. If you watch the catcher Tyler set up, and he hardly ever has to move his glove when Oberg hits the spot.
And just as you say that, he puts one.
I was trying to mix it up a little bit.
No, that's you're very accurate though with that description of how Oberg's been all around the plate there. And there is a pitch taken for a strike at the knees. 2-2 count here to Chiriboga.
Well, that was not a curveball, but it wasn't quite as the same velocity. I wonder if he's throwing a 2-seam and a 4-seam fastball, because he can really bring it when he wants to.
Like that, and taken for a called third strike. Chiriboga seemed to be expecting something else, and he looks at a strike 3. So 8 strikeouts for Oberg so far. Ben Moline will be the hitter. He struck out in the first inning and then reached on a fielder's choice in the third, stole a base, but was ultimately cut down trying to score at home plate.
Well, Ben Moline, a potential college baseball player for the Royals, is coming through with a great season last year, and got some youngsters around him, but is a good leader out there on the ball field.
Little tapper here, going to be a tough chance. Third baseman gets there, throw to first base is in time, and Moline is out. Boy, it was looking like it might be Oberg's ball. Then it was shortstop Kay waiting for it, but Westermeyer was able to get there and cut it off. And I don't think if it got all the way to Kay that they were going to have much of a chance. And instead, they'll get the out at first. Ooh, not so sure on that one.
Yeah, it's easy for us to watch that in slow motion. Great work by our cameraman in there to show that. It seems like I said it when I was in elementary school, but Ty goes to the runner, and it looked like that to me.
Swanson's been on twice today, a walk and a single. And lifts this one foul and out of play. Ooh, Oberg thought he had one there. Taken for a ball instead, 1-2. Big break on that one, and Swanson just gets a piece of it. I think I would agree with you, Rick. He almost looks stronger as the game goes on here. Another 1-2 here from Will Oberg, and laid off that one, I think. No swing, yep. Oth waiting on deck if Swanson can keep the inning alive here. And there's a called third strike on the fastball. So Swanson caught looking. Couple strikeouts in the inning for Oberg. No runs, no hits, and no one left for the Royals in the 6th. We go to the bottom of inning number 6. Still 3-0 Trojans.
I rescued Toast from a shelter in 2011. I love Toast because she's a lazy diva. Toast does whatever she wants, obviously. She's sleeping right now. She's an epic snuggler. She's so comforting. She's so loving. Toast makes me laugh. When I walked into the shelter, I knew right then that she was special.
Welcome back here to Wayzata Central Middle School, where the Trojans lead Hopkins 3-0 as we go to the bottom of the 6th. Along with Rick Rexroth, I'm Jay Wilcox. Hope you're enjoying today's ball game, and I have to say, Rick, I'm enjoying it a lot more after the little storm front blew through. It wasn't a lot of rain, but it was really windy and blowing the dirt around for a little bit, and I think a lot more comfortable day for all the ball players here after that first inning or two.
Yeah, about 4:15, teams taking infield. It got to be a little breezy. And then we got a few raindrops. And right at first pitch, we had a little fiasco with the anthem, and we were blowing around a little bit. And then right in the first half of that inning, I thought we were in for a stormy day. But it's turned out to be a great day for baseball.
See Tyler Young, he's hit the ball to the left fielder both the first 2 times up. And both times Joey Swanson was equal to the challenge of the last time was a fairly difficult slicing ball, but he stayed with it. And so Young looking for his first hit, but he's done nice work behind the plate. Handling Oberg. Up the middle with it, nice play, and the throw is in plenty of time there as Matt Shaw ranging over to his right. That was not as easy a play as he kind of made it look.
Yeah, well, we saw Shaw coming out of the half-inning break with his warm-up throws, and he needed every ounce of himself to get over to the right side to get that ball. Went to his right and flicked that ball with good strength to get the out.
Pitch missing inside, Bolke the hitter. 0 for 2. Drove that ball fairly well out to right field last time up. Out to the warning track. And he lines this one, and that will get through for a base hit. So Bolke aboard with 1 out here in the 6th. And Nick Kay will be the batter for Wayzata.
Well, right back up the middle for Bolke, just a nice clean hit.
Here's a guy who's been hot with the bat. Kay, a double and a single so far. And boy, the bottom part of their order, I mean, the 8-9 hitters are a combined 3 for 3 and also a sacrifice. So they've gotten good production out of the bottom part of the order today, too.
Yep, and Kay scored twice, so he's responsible for 2 of those runs. So Coach DeWitt's got a good developed squad. He's got to replace some of those players that graduated last year from the state championship team, and he's got some good people filling in, stepping in for the 17 season.
Taken for a strike there by Kay. And obviously, you know, it's a very big school, and there's a great feeder programs in all the sports, but it doesn't make anything automatic. There's a flip to second for 1. Relay to first. Did he hang on the bag? No. So they get the out at second base, but then Kay will be aboard on a fielder's choice.
See, flipped a shot. He gets a good turn, but the throw's a little up the line.
Nice job by Oth just to make the catch. At some point, you have to realize that I'm going to have to abandon the bag here. And Rothstein foul tip on that first one. He had a sacrifice bunt and then an RBI single. Strike, and now they've got the runner. As they throw behind him. Got him in a rundown, and collision. And battling back to the bag.
See if they're going to call him out. He's pointing to the runner. We don't quite know what the call is. If he's in the path back to the bag, you got to let the runner back to the bag. So the contact, not
very unusual. Look, here's another look. I'm surprised they're not calling this interference as you see them guys bouncing around. Look at this.
See the
very unusual.
The interference can be called when he's trying to catch the ball. You could have called him out for when he got in the way of the throwing, but then he's got to get a chance to go back to the bag. But yeah, that's a very unusual play on a baseball field.
Not just the fact that they collided once, but then they kept battling, pushing each other. Never seen that before. Going to throw back down there again, and this time not nearly as adventurous. So Hopkins, they'll be maybe working on or at least discussing rundown a little bit. They didn't execute that one very well, obviously.
Well, Jack Cohen was not on the bag. He was about 10, 15 feet in front.
Rothstein trying to make him pay here for letting that inning extend, and he slices one to right, but it's going to get past as Nelson looked like he had it and then lost it. Now a throw to third, though, and they did not get the tag on as Kay will slide around the tag. Hopkins nearly got out of that one with a throw out on the bases. A wild play there. Liner, and it looks like Nelson has it measured, and then he doesn't, but then he throws a strong throw all the way to third, but nope, wasn't able to get the tag on.
Yep, good job by the home plate umpire to rotate over to make that call at third.
So scored as an E9. There'll be runners at first and third now for Danny Dice. Wayzata's inning still alive. Takes the ball.
Well, that just go back to that first inning where they were able to make the double play with the play at plate. Just good defense can just really, really help you when you're taking on these good teams.
Dice back up the middle. That'll get through for a hit, and a run will score. So the miscue will cost Hopkins, and it's 4-0 Wayzata.
Yep, the extra outs. The guy that just crossed home plate could have been picked off and then went to third with an error. So it's extra outs. You give extra outs to good teams, they usually make you pay.
Bobby Isbell takes the first pitch up high for a ball. He is 1 for 3 today. So Dice now 3 for 4, and he's driven in 3 of the 4 runs for the Trojans. There's a strike. And this one is knocked down, but they won't have a play, so the bases are going to be loaded. An infield hit for Isbell. Thought that one was going to get all the way through. Filimovic did a nice job to get to it, and then wisely didn't try to make a throw here.
Yeah, it gets by third baseman, and like you said, knocked down. Probably didn't save a run with that knockdown, but keeps the ball in the infield.
So bases will be loaded for Wayzata, and there's going to be conference here. We'll see if they'll be lifting Cohen or just having a little chat. Looks like they are going to take him out. So Cohen did a pretty solid job early in the performance, but runs into a little trouble in the 6th. His defense didn't help him out on a key chance as well. So new pitcher for Hopkins. Looks like it is going to be Wyatt Nelson coming in from right field to take his warm-up tosses. We'll step aside as he warms up. It's still 4-0 Wayzata here at Central Middle School.
Did you know kids who play outdoors have healthier lungs?
Totally.
Did you know that boys that play with dolls make better husbands?
My son has lots of dolls. But did you know terry cloth diapers breathe better?
I did.
It's totally true.
Oh, yeah.
Did you guys know statistically friendly kids have more friends?
Yeah.
That's obvious.
Did you know most people think they're using the right car seat for their kid, but they're not?
Parents who really know it all know for sure that their child is in the right seat. Visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat to make sure your child is protected.
Wyatt Nelson will come on to pitch here for the Royals. He has worked 5 innings so far, a 1-0 record, 1.40 ERA. In 5 innings, he's allowed 3 hits, no walks, and 5 Ks. So Oberg will be the batter. Base is full for Wayzata, trying to really break open a 4-0 game.
Well, watching Nelson warm up, he's got a nice fluid delivery. A little deceptive with the release point. His arm's way back there. It's hard for the batter to pick up. So we'll see if you're coming in and you're going to challenge one of their better players overall and get a little nerves out there.
First pitch fouled back by Oberg. You saw he has a couple of base hits. His first 2 times up, he had hits. Able to hold up on that high fastball. It's 1-1. You almost wonder a little bit if Oberg you know, if he gets a hit here, it might make it a little easier to think about not having him finish the game as a pitcher if they stretch the lead out to, you know, 6, 7, 8 runs.
Well, and that we mentioned the pitch count piece, and there's certain levels, and I don't remember the exact levels, but if he's in between one of those levels where they can shorten to 2 days rest rather than 3, it's something that's worth thinking about. Now that we've got that pitch count rule in place.
Way up high for a ball, and Oberg is going to draw a bases loaded walk to force in a run. As Rothstein will score for the Trojans to make it a 5-0 ball game. And Chad Musser will hit. Musser 1 for 2 with a walk. Takes a first pitch ball. Slices it foul down the left field line.
Good velocity there by Nelson. I was going to say if that wasn't a strike, you want to settle down your pitcher a little bit, but it seems like he's able to take a deep breath and get himself back on the mark there.
Misses high and away with that one. And again upstairs. So Musser and the Trojans as a whole were very aggressive early in the count, but now they're trying to, you know, make sure that they're swinging at strikes and make Nelson come with something over the plate here with the bases loaded. Big rip and a miss there.
Yep, he's out of the windup here, so if he stays in the windup, the Trojans will be running on the move on first movement, so the run will be coming hard and fast.
And there's a called third strike, so Nelson will work out of trouble as Musser caught looking, but Wayzata tacks on a couple more. And our score through 6 is 5-0 Trojans. And Wayzata will lift Oberg after 6 very good innings. Peyton Gallagher coming on to replace him. Gallagher pitching in his second game of the season as he has just pitched 1 inning so far this year. 1 strikeout, no runs allowed, no hits allowed. So he will come on to close this one out, or attempt to anyway, for Wayzata.
Well, again, with that pitch count number, if we don't have the records here, but they're actually supposed to check in with each other, both books, with making sure they've got the right number of pitches. So if he was right below a tier where it would put him out for another day's rest, he's the kind of thing where Oberg could maybe come in for relief on Friday with no problems. So also it could just be let's save his arm and give another kid an opportunity with a 5-0 lead and develop that staff. Make a good run at defending your title. So we don't know what's in the coach's mind, but good opportunity here for Gallagher to face the Royals.
Tommy Oth will lead it off in the 7th here for Hopkins. Oth 0 for 2. I don't think any of the Royals are too sad to see Oberg not out on the mound anymore. He's been pretty dominant.
Yeah, I think his velocity actually probably peaked in that 4th, 5th inning because his velocity got better. And we mentioned how good he was at locating the ball.
Gallagher showing he is no slouch either as he comes with some heat right at the knees there. Chopper to second, and it takes a nice high bounce, and the throw over to first base is in time, so Chance handled flawlessly there as Isbell makes it look easy. 1 down here in the 7th, and Morgan Holmes will be the batter. Fouls this one back and out of play. One and one count as that one just missed. That one's over for a strike. Back up the middle, and that one gets away. Might have taken a little bit of a bad hop there on Kay, but Holmes will reach on the error here as he's been on twice on errors in this one.
Well, ball's hit hard, and we'll see the hop at the end here. Skipped. Seemed like a true hop, but it's ground's pretty hard. Grass is still pretty hard.
So Nelson, the pitcher, steps in, takes a first pitch strike. He's asking Coach DeWitt about, Central Middle School, and he said, it's a good backup, but still a little bumpier than we'd like in spots too. But he said it's better than it has been at times too. So they're not complaining by any means having this as a second option.
Right. I was going to say they played here for years when the Central Middle School was the high school, but it's still April, so all the fields are going to have some rough spots in them.
Just missing there as he hit the target a little bit outside, so 1 and 2 count. Nice pick there, and then the throw to first base, not going to be in time, but solid job behind the plate there by Young.
Yeah, Tyler Young's done a nice job today managing Oberg. And it didn't seem like he was getting pitches called from the dugout. I think that he and Oberg were working together to put that game together.
Tapper to third, going to barehanded, and the throw is not in time. So Nelson will reach on an infield hit here, and the Royals still alive.
Well, it's a chopper, and Nelson's got some pretty good wheels. He does barehand the ball, which is a nice play, strong throw, bang, bang play. You can see that why that was probably a safe call, but good hustle by everybody involved.
So Wilson, the hitter for the Royals. There's a strike. Wayzata has to be feeling good that they tacked on a couple more runs because you had the feeling for a long time of a game that they maybe could have or should have been ahead by more than they were. But when it went from 3-0 to 5-0, that certainly gives them a little more margin for error here in the 7th, even if the Royals should get on the board.
Yeah, we look out at the scoreboard here at Central Middle School, and the 5 runs is a nice number, but the other number is 14 hits. So like you said, it could be easily a 9 or 10 run game by this point.
Back up the middle, diving try, they knock it down. Hopkins going to get on the board as Holmes comes around to score. And Wilson will have himself kind of a seeing eye base hit right there. A couple different guys had a vague chance at it, but see the diving try to knock it down and keep it in the infield anyway, but it still couldn't keep that run from scoring. So base hit on the play, and Wilson gets an RBI. Nelson holds up at second. Pitch taken up high for a ball here by Felimavicius.
Well, I'm sure Coach Mukalakis is asking him to take a pitch here with being down this many runs, and it's worked for him here, making Peyton Gallagher really bring the ball, and then when they does have to bring it, they're able to hit the ball where they can get some people on base and put a threat together.
High chopper to third and not handled. And the bases will be loaded up as the Trojans showing a little bit of weakness defensively here in this 7th inning as a kind of an in-between hop there and not able to come up with it.
Well, he's going to charge. We saw him make a play with his bare hand earlier. He tries to reach with the glove and isn't able to get the glove down low enough. So 2 errors on the left side of the infield there in this inning, making it tougher on Gallagher. And my college coach said, if you're within 1 swing of a bat, it's still a ball game, and that's where the Royals are here in the top of the 7th.
Bases full and a 5-1 ball game.
Yeah, the key there was with just 1 out, you're still got to make the play. I'm sure they're having a conversation not only about what Gallagher needs, but also what the infield needs, because you would exchange an out for a run here very easily as a coach.
Yeah, you're in theory coming out to talk to the pitcher, but probably, he's done his job maybe a little more so than what the infield could say in this inning. Well, the Royals at the very least making it interesting here in this top of the 7th. And left up high for a ball here by Gallagher.
Yep, they probably are taking that first pitch, which is going to make Gallagher bring the ball. But Wayzata playing a pretty big infield again, trying to just make sure they get an out here.
There's the strike from Gallagher. Shaw struck out twice, and you have to wonder if maybe if Oberg was still out there, if Shaw would have been batted for, but not the case here. Pops it up. This one might be playable, but not easy. Down the right field line, Dice will make the catch. Runners bluff but do not go. And so out number 2 is a big one. Quite a bit of room and foul ground on that line, and Dice did a nice job of tracking it and staying with it.
Well, there still is wind here, so this is an adventure, and you can see the Belke get out of the way. That is Dice's ball, and he did a good job of hustling in there and calling off the infielder and making the catch.
So we're going to have a pinch hitter here. Can't make out the number just yet. Is it number 8, looks like?
Looks like Nordine.
Yeah, Ross Nordine will bat in the number 9 spot. So 2 outs, 1 run in. Bases still loaded for Hopkins. Gallagher trying to get out of the inning. And the ball gets away, but Hopkins not going to make a gamble. It doesn't make any sense.
Yep.
That run doesn't mean that much to risk anything.
Yeah, and even earlier we didn't mention it, but Morgan Holmes, who scored, who's the catcher, they actually ran for him in the beginning of the game and didn't run for him in this inning because they're really not worried about speed at that point because they need a bunch of runs.
Popped up foul and out of play.
Now Nordine's just got to choke up that bat and put the ball in play, see what can happen. Fight off and protect that plate, see if he can keep the Royals alive.
Fastball misses up high and inside. Nordine, as a hitter this year, has a couple of base hits, one of them a home run. So that might be one reason why he's the guy called on in this spot too. A little pop in his bat. 2-2 count here, and fouls it away. And another foul as Nordine and Gallagher continue their battle here. And lifts it out to center field. It'll be playable, and the catch made, and the Trojans will hang on for the win as Musser gets to it. And Wayzata stays undefeated here as they score a 5-1 victory over Hopkins here. Had a couple of miscues in the field late here, Rick, but overall a pretty impressive performance. You can see why Wayzata's got this record.
Yeah, they did a great job being aggressive early, getting to Plant early, and then getting to Cohen a couple of times. But really, for Wayzata, the most exciting thing is the pitching of Will Oberg today, as he, I believe, extends his record to 3-0 on the season.
Yeah, he was very sharp through 6, and you see 13 hits on the board for them as well. We'll be back to wrap things up here in just a moment. Your final is Wayzata 5 and Hopkins 1.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes? B, console her?
Don't worry, sweetie. This is gonna happen a lot.
Or C, find her a new boyfriend?
Nice, single boys. That was weird.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Welcome back here to Central Middle School. Wayzata off to a great start again this season after winning that state championship last year. They beat Hopkins today by a score of 5-1, and we're with a couple of the guys that helped to get it done. And starting with Danny Dice, 3 RBIs for you today. It looks like you guys came out pretty aggressive, swinging early in the count. Was that kind of the game plan, to jump on them early like that?
Yeah, we really talked about having a plan with our at-bats, and just in the past games we weren't as aggressive as we wanted to be. So we just came out, we're aggressive right from the start.
You had a chance to get up there with some guys on base, and as the leadoff guy, you're not necessarily looking at an RBI situation, but how much fun was it to come through with a few key hits like that?
Yeah, it was fun. It was a team effort. Everybody got on base and hit them in when you can. It was an awesome win.
Obviously, you guys graduated a lot of really good players from last year's team, but is it kind of rewarding to know that you've come through with a really good start this year as well, and showing that, you know, there's still life after those guys too?
Yeah, it's fun to keep that wave rolling, I guess. You know, we had a fun season last year, and this year's starting out great, so we just want to keep it going.
Got Minnetonka Friday. How big of a game is that for you guys?
We just play it like any other game, just nothing different.
All right, congratulations on a nice game here, and good luck on Friday.
Thank you.
That's Danny Dice, and now Will Oberg, who came through as a hitter, but also more impressively 6 strong innings on the hill. How'd you feel out there today?
I felt good. Felt like everything was working after that first inning, kind of settled down. The wind obviously was a factor, but just working our game plan.
You guys have had a really great start, and you've been a big part of that. Do you feel pretty good on the mound, just the way you've been able to work in these first few games?
Yeah, it feels good, especially knowing we got a good defense behind me and good catcher calling a game and just throwing strikes.
When you look at some of the names that you guys graduated from last year, I'm sure there's a little bit of uncertainty. You know, are they going to be as good and everything? But were you pretty confident that this was going to be another really good year?
Yeah, I mean, we knew what we had coming in. Obviously, we don't have the talent we had last year, but I think as a team, we kind of have that same feel where it's like we're playing for each other and we just out having fun.
Guys get a few days off here to get ready for Minnetonka, and you know, Danny was saying just another game. Do you feel that way too, or do you kind of say, you know what, it is a pretty important one?
On Friday?
Yeah.
Minnetonka? Yeah, it's another game. It's baseball. Doesn't matter who we're playing.
Good mentality to have. Congratulations on the win here, and good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Will Oberg helping Wayzata to stay unbeaten here as they're now 5-0 after a 5-1 win over Hopkins. We hope you've enjoyed today's telecast. For Rick Rexroth and our crew, I'm Jay Wilcox. So long from Central Middle School.